What's going on, everybody, man? I got some of the big dogs in the house, and I mean, I couldn't think of anybody else to have this conversation with when it comes to the Dawa downfall, the tactics that they're reverting to, the insults, the threats, the violence. I mean, Chris, you yourself, you just had an experience where you walked up with your hands in your pockets to try to debate the up-and-coming legend of Dawa, the Orthodox Muslim, and tell us, were they ready to debate you?
Oh no. No. They were not ready to debate such a threatening person as me. It was kind of strange. We saw Libiano live streaming and we thought, hey, we were just out getting some pizza. Let's go and travel halfway across London to go debate him since he wants to have chats in public and talk about Islam. So we thought, well, let's talk about the Islamic dilemma. And, you know, I'm releasing a book, as you guys all know, on the Islamic dilemma. It should be released this month in April. Available on Amazon internationally as a paperback, hardback, or ebook. That's my little plug there.
Little plug,
yeah. But when we got there, and we waited patiently, we got the whole thing was live streamed from our phones. We got there, we waited because he was already talking to some completely unaware person who knew nothing about Islam. And after we had that chat, I walked up to him, apparently in a very aggressive manner. I had my hands in my pockets. I was leaning back.
I wish Christian Prince could do this sort of stuff. To be honest, man, why are you running? Which one? Why are you running? What's it? Right here. Are you going to step up?
But yeah, it was very, very threatening. And we had like bodyguards pushing me, but both me and David. They were yelling, they were shouting, they were surrounding us.
Were they shouting arguments against the
Islamic?
No, not arguments?
No, Libiano had a great response to the Islamic dilemma. I kept saying it again and again. I want to talk about the Islamic dilemma. I don't want any violence or anything like that, just the Islamic dilemma. And I knew he was going to be slippery, so I was assertive and I approached him directly and I didn't let him talk about anything else. So he started insulting after Ali Dawa called us all clowns before we even engaged with him. As the cameras show, he kept saying, calm down. Calm down, just calm down, which of course the best way to calm someone down is just by saying calm down 1,000 times rather than addressing any
bunch of gaslighting.
It's gaslighting, right? I said, hey, let's debate at Speaker's Corner the next day because this was like Saturday evening, Sunday morning. And I was like, hey, let's go to Speaker's Corner. And he was like, yeah, I'll see you there. Ali Dawa was like, you're the P word if you don't go to Speaker's Corner tomorrow. Which is funny because guess who turned up at Speaker's Corner?
Who didn't show up?
It was me and David, but those guys were nowhere to be seen. And we were there the whole day. So, you know, these guys ran. But yeah, the whole thing had a climax where one of Libiano's friends, a really good friend of his, who he doxed earlier in the stream, because we know his name, we know where he's from. And it turned out he's a really good friend of his. He's even been to his house. This guy called Uzair, he decided to start making racist threats and racist insults to David, calling him black mother effer and all the stuff.
So not arguments for Islam.
Well, I gotta be honest with you, I've never heard anyone preach Islam like that before. So
except Muhammad.
I don't think David was convinced. So then he starts getting pushy and he pushes David. Then he hits David twice in 2 separate occasions. And then on the second occasion, I see him do it. I yell at him. I yell, what are you doing? He then comes up to me and he hits me in the nose.
So instead of debating, instead of engaging in the dialogue, they're out there doing open dawa, talking to people who they presume know nothing about Islam and Christianity. You guys show up, public space, ready to have a dialogue, and the only thing they return with is insults, punches, grabbing you, racist slurs, things like that.
Hang on. One second. Chris, I just wanted to, because clarification, because, you know, we've had trouble sorting out the details. So when Uzair is hurling all this racial abuse at David, was it before he punched David and punched you that the Muslims all jumped on him for being a racist, or like was it after?
So the Muslims didn't really care that he was making these racial remarks. They just stood around. In fact, actually, that's a really funny bit of the clip. I think it's fun. I mean, it's not funny that David got hit, but the first time David got hit, it's obvious who did it. It's caught on camera. Everyone's standing there. Ali Dawa's there. Orthodox Muslims there. They all see it. But one of the team of Orthodox Muslim has the nerve to, like, in this moment of silence, just turn to David and go, David, as if to be like, how dare you, David? How dare you get punched in the head? What are you doing here? And it was just like, bro, it's like extreme gaslighting. And I think it's just for the cameras, right? He just wants to, like, hope he can convince people that David got hit because it was his own fault. It's really dumb.
So somebody who has experience with Muslims ghosting is inspiring philosophy. I've never seen anybody run off Muslims more than I've seen you do it. I mean, IP will have scheduled debates, it locked in for months, and all of a sudden, time after time, I'm not exaggerating, after time, these dudes toothaches, knee injuries, Achilles tears. What's up with that, IP? What's been your experience in regards to debating the Muslims? You've been heavy in it now. What do you see?
It's hilarious. They don't want to debate. Like last year when I was in Britain, Unbelievable was trying to schedule like an informal debate with a Muslim. And so they asked a local imam to debate. And he was like, oh yeah, I'd love to come on Unbelievable and do another debate. Absolutely. By the way, who's the Christian? And they sent on my info. And within 2 hours, this guy had a fever. He was going to be out for 10 days. He said 10 days in the email. Like, this could last for 10 days. I'm not going to be able to do this in like 2 or 3 days now. It's like, wow. Yeah. So I've offered so many debate challenges, and most of them I'm not getting replies to. Some of them agree. But I mean, like when I debated, for example, Duck Lips, the Libiano, he didn't actually debate the topic.
Yeah.
He never showed where Muhammad is in the Bible. The only attempt he tried to do was to try to show Daniel, and I schooled him on that.
All right, excellent. Okay, so when did the Roman Empire end?
According to scholarship, what I've seen, it fully ended in 1453.
What is the metric they use to say that's the end of the Roman Empire?
I'm not a historian. I don't know.
So you don't know. So the only metric I
can't.
So what do? Their tactics now in debates is not to even debate the topic, because they know their Muslim audience isn't going to watch a long debate. They just don't do that. The majority of them won't. So they're trying to find clips. So in Libiano's cross-examination, he wasn't even debating the topic. He's bringing things up like the logical problem of the Trinity. He's bringing things up about typology, and then they clip that and take it out of context because they're desperate. So they're not even like trying to debate topics now. Now they're just clip farming so that they can try to convince their audience it went well when it never actually did.
Now, Jai, you just now recently shown your face. What was the energy from the Muslims in regards to, because you guys are huge when it comes to, you and your wife, DLC, Daughter of Christ, you guys are huge when it comes to digging into the scholars of Islam, the variants that the Quran has. Now, before you guys showed your face, what was the energy from? Like, were Muslims jumping up and like, hey, I'll challenge you to debate you? Or what was the tactic from the Muslims in your experience?
Yeah, the tactic that we experience, first, what they try to do is they try to ignore you, right? That's the first thing they try to do. The Dawa guys will try to ignore you. What happens is the Muslims don't let them ignore you, though. So they keep going to their channel. Hey, can you respond to this? Respond to this. They're saying the Arabic says this. Can you respond? They're saying that this scholar said this. Can you respond? Eventually, they have to, say something. But in terms of content, nothing really comes out of that from the Muslim side. They tried a couple times with the Islamic dilemma. Nothing really comes out of it. But in terms of after, that, that's all said and done with their response, we give our response. What ends up happening is we get, all of a sudden we get like, let's say a copyright strike or something like that, where something happens, we got a strike on the channel, this happens, that happens. It turns from like, we're going to have a discussion with you, or we're going to respond to you, to all of a sudden we're getting people just giving false copyright strikes, this channel, yes. And so that's how they kind of they do it with us.
And then they were trying to find out who you were, right?
Trying to find out who we were, dox who we are, where we live, and what we do, and that's it's all like intimidation tactics, trying to threaten us, and we think that they live here, or we think this is their names or something. They're trying to scare you into not responding to Islam. They don't have a response to the arguments. They can't respond to the truth. Like the Bible says, we can't do anything against truth, only for the truth. They can't do anything against the truth. So what do? They just try to scare you. They try to threaten you. And, that's what they do. Try to silence you.
Yeah. Now, David, you could touch on this, man, because you're seeing all this going on. Even you're right here in the mix. I just want you to go ahead and give your 2 cents, man, on what you're seeing from, because you guys used to have a lot of debates, debates. Now we're seeing what the state of Dawa is now. It's all about doxing, the hoorah, the threatening, the slander. You know, you even mentioned before we started this, I'm catching strays. You know, I'm out of my own business, man. But I'm over here catching strays. So go ahead and touch on that and what you're seeing. You're one of the OGs, man. Talk to us.
Yeah, what you're seeing right now is the large-scale global version of what we've seen in the past with individuals. So I've been saying for years, Dawa guys don't last long, right? Because a new Dawa guy will come along and he'll have like a new bag of tricks. He'll have his new trick that he uses. He'll have his new little tactics and so on.
Yeah.
And it'll work for a while because, you know, he'll have some new point or some new argument or some new way of doing things or some new trick, and it catches people off guard and it'll work for a little while. But then people will eventually catch on and then it stops working, and then he'll scramble to try and remain relevant, but it doesn't last. It doesn't last. So in other words, you look at the guys that I was debating in like 2008, it's a different group from the guys I was debating in 2014, 2015. It's just different guys. Those guys were all gone. And the guys that were around 2014 and 2015, those are not the guys who are around, 2020 and stuff. They just don't last. Whereas you look at the Christian apologists who were dealing with Islam 15 years ago, we're all still here. We're all doing it. And we're constantly getting new guys jumping in. So anyway, so with individuals, it just didn't last. Like, people catch on to the tricks. And what you're seeing now is people are catching on to all of the tricks. So all of Dawa is just, it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work. People have caught on to it. They can't do this stuff in the comment section or in debates anymore because people know better now. And so the entire system is crumbling, but they've got a problem because the solution for everything in Islam has always been just get more aggressive and more violent, right? I mean, the solution for everything from Muhammad was just get more violent. So, oh, your wife's getting on a line, we'll beat her. This guy's leaving Islam, his head off, and so on. It's always the solution, and that's programmed into them. So when things don't work, they just, let's get more aggressive and more violence, and that'll solve things. And it's not. They're out of tricks, so they're just falling back on the tried and true. Let's get violent, and it's just not working. And they don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do right now. So they're scrambling. They're attacking in all directions. They don't realize they look like complete lunatics to the rest of the world.
They're even attacking each other, bringing down each other, right? Because here's the thing: each Dawa guy wants to be the Dawa guy, and in this, it's like crabs in a barrel. They are pulling each other down. They're ready to snitch on each other, call each other out. Chris, I saw that you unmuted. What you got to say, bro?
No, I'm just saying, exactly this. I've noticed this as well. There can only be one.
Yep, there can only be one, man.
Take Muhammad Hijab as an example, right? He tried to set up some people, like to do some debates, Daniel and Jake. What ended up happening to Daniel and Jake? It's just created this whole thing. So they can never work together. And it's only a matter of time before these other personalities, these new ones coming up, that they're going to split too with the big guys, and they're going to start doing their own things as well. Every single time it's like a pattern. We see it happening. They all want to be number one, and anyone who gets in the way of that from amongst their own people, they'll do anything they can, like take low blows at them, make some videos about them, talking about how, these guys actually got some hidden heresy or some, there's some innovation or something, or they'll start talking about their private lives. You know what this guy does behind the scenes? You know what this guy does behind the scenes? Because what do they want? They want to be that one up there that everyone looks to. And
that's what this guy does behind the other guy behind the scenes?
Yeah, right.
He warns them. He's behind them. He's warning them behind him. No, it's really crazy. What we see with Dawa, they don't debate, but they tend to get personal. They tend to try to find out not your argument, but what you do, where you're from, your family members, and they try to dig up all this stuff to slander you, slander your family, slander your wives, your husbands, your brothers and sisters, whatever. They're trying to get this stuff out, slander you, spread rumors, threaten you. We see that with Orthodox Muslim. He's doing this with my wife as we speak. We see Dawa guys on TikTok doing that because they can't refute me. I have an open live stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You are welcome, any of you, to come and have a discussion on any topic that I'm doing. Yet they won't do that.
Mm-mm.
They'll try to attack my wife. They'll try to put up pictures of my mom and my brothers and stuff like that. Just weird stuff. And this is satanic. It's weird. Now, I have a message here. I wanted to cap it off with this from I Am the Warner. He sent me this beautiful message of Dawa inviting me to Islam. And this is what he says, guys. He said on Instagram, "You were such a good little boy. The first time we met, I had no idea who you were, and I allowed you to speak to me. You hid all your hate for Islam in front of me that day, like the little coward you are, knowing what would happen to you if you expressed that same hate face to face. Then suddenly behind a computer screen, you switch up, and now you want to act tough. I'll make you eat your words. You better have the same energy when we meet face to face. Also, I'm not afraid of death. I hope you're not afraid of death, either leaving your wife as a widow and your children as orphans." Beautiful, Dawa. I almost said my shahada right there with how beautiful.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
Wow.
gosh, this makes me want to convert, man.
And remember,
This
this
is
is Warner doesn't do debates. He's not a debater. He sends these threats. He sets up his little Dawa booths where in his little safe
what does he do
spaces.
then? What does he do?
He's warning behind warners.
He's warning.
He's warning from
He's
the back,
warning.
man.
He's watching from the back. He's doing all sorts of stuff from the back. It's really kind of scary. But I mean, like, this just shows his insecurity. He's an insecure little man on the inside. He won't debate. He'll want to set up his little Dawa booth to talk to people that are ignorant about Islam, but he won't challenge anybody who has any knowledge. And when that happens, this is what he turns into. Look at the psychology here. This is what this religion of Islam produces.
And that's kind of connected to what I was saying, as far as, having tricks that work for a while and then don't work in the long term. One of their biggest issues is that we've seen from the individuals is they're looking for pockets of ignorance. They're looking for people who don't know anything about Islam, and those are the only people they want to talk to. I mean, Avery just pointed out he's live all the time. Any one of these guys who wants to refute him can call in. Instead, it's no. Now we got to threaten him. Now we got to go after his wife. All this stuff because they can't deal with the argument. So anyway, they're looking for ignorant people, but that's getting increasingly difficult because now they all want to go live, and guess what? People show up. So it's not working anymore. And so what do? They lash out and we'll punch you in the face, we'll threaten you, and so on. We'll go after your wife, we'll dox you. It's just, this is Dawa, guys. And it's like, it's gonna I have to say, it's like a wounded animal, right? That it actually temporarily becomes more dangerous because it understands its life is on the line, and it just starts lashing out. It means it's dangerous. That's what we're dealing with Dawa. So they're gonna try and do all kinds of damage this year, but it's because it's dying. It is dying before our eyes. So everyone just keep that in mind when things get messy with all these guys this year, and they try everything they can, that it's because they know they're doomed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dawa. This is Islam. And I hope that you guys have fun. Learn these arguments. Watch the tactics. Watch the desperation. Watch the panic unfold as it's unfolding right before our very eyes. It's a fun watch. Until next time.